I remember the evening of March 15, 2018. I had been assigned to serve on a death notification team. All we knew that a young captain in the United States Air Force had been killed in Iraq in a helicopter crash. And we had the assignment to inform his next of kin. I would later learn that Captain Mark Weber was one of the elite special forces, one of 150 officers in combat rescue. I remember our 2-officer detail speaking to the father from a call box at their family home. The time was around 9:30 p.m., and I could tell from the sound of the father's voice that he knew why we were there. I would later learn that Mr. Weber turned to his wife, Marge, and told her that an officer and a chaplain were at the gate. He had shared with his family that an officer and a chaplain at the front gate was something they never wanted to hear. I remember walking into their home, and while the scripted speech was being read to the family, I noticed the picture of 5 children on a corner shelf. They're 5 children's pictures from top to bottom, from oldest to youngest, with Captain Mark Weber in the very middle, 2 older sisters and 2 younger sisters. I noted with interest the 2 younger sisters, both in military uniform, one serving in the Coast Guard and one serving in the United States Air Force. I would later learn from subsequent conversations with Mr. Weber that they knew from our arrival at the front gate that one of their children had died. They just didn't know which one. I can remember as if it were yesterday our tragic news being delivered that Mr. Weber stood to his feet and in a broken yet strong voice said, "Mark knew where he was going." And we know where he is now. Yes, we hear their voices even today. Mark Weber wrote the following while he was at the academy on July the 9th, 2007, 11 years to the day after penning these words, he was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. He wrote, "I know God put me here for a reason. Whether it be for lessons learned or whether it be for something else, I do not know. But I do know that God is in control, and I will one day get off this sinful, cursed world and be with God in paradise, doing everything the way it was created to be. In this world," he wrote, "I have seen the cold darkness, and I want to push it back. That is another one of my goals, to help push back the darkness and help people." He wrote in another post, "The biggest and most helpful thing for me was trusting in God's sovereignty and His plan for my life. I knew that God's plan for my life would not be thwarted. On the contrary, God was instilling character through all of this to prepare me for the calling He had set on my life. The same is true for you," he wrote. "I know that all this is preparing you for something special, and this gives me a great deal of peace." Finally, as if he could look into our day, he wrote, "I urge you in troubled times to read the Bible, pray, to cry out to God for help, discernment, and wisdom. We do not know how far the ripples reach or the impact of our own wake on others. The light of Christ shining through us has profound eternal significance of which its effects we will not see until we gain an eternal perspective. We remember."